Welcome to Tea Time, the podcast. I am Cassie Marina, fondly known as the Branding Queen, and I am a digital branding expert helping businesses get online and thrive doing so. I am passionate about sharing my knowledge through content creation like this podcast, online classes, and workshops, as well as through the services of my branding agency to help you develop your online systems. Think of this podcast as the place to get the latest advice, strategies, tips, news, and inspiration on building your brand online using the tools available to us, but most importantly, thought-provoking content to improve your mindset, to maximize on these tools and put context to day-to-day developments in the online world of business with a little bit of tea dishing facts and sass, because I really want you to thrive online. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let's begin. Hey guys, welcome back to Tea Time, the podcast. And today I am doing something a little bit different. At the time of this recording, I am also live on Instagram. So if you watch the Instagram or you saw this on IGTV and you're just catching the full-length version, welcome back, and welcome back to listeners. And if you're listening for the first time, thanks for joining in. So today's episode is all about content creation, and it's a Q&A episode, which I absolutely love Q&A episodes, especially as someone who listens to podcasts, because it's always interesting to hear other people's questions, because it's always such a good source of conversation. So I love Q&As. So I love doing them myself as well, because somehow you find that people have questions to things that you would have never thought about, and it's always interesting to know what's on people's mind, right? And it can always help somebody else, and that's one thing I absolutely love about a group session, because you might think you have no questions, but then when somebody else asks the question, it's like, oh yeah, that's such a good question, you know? So first question I have, I'm not reading anybody's names, right? I'm keeping this confidential, but the first question I have is, hey, I have 2 online businesses and Facebook is doing pretty well, but I struggle with Instagram. I am not too sure if it's the lack of hashtagging or the actual stuff I post that isn't engaging enough. However, I share the same stuff on Facebook, on Instagram, and I get clients on Facebook. So immediately I thought, okay, she's making sales, so clearly her audience is on Facebook. But then after a quick social media audit of her Instagram, I was like, we could be doing so much better. So if you're making sales right now, imagine that you could be doubling or tripling your sales if you had really good engaging content, the reach that you could be reaching more people, which would obviously or should convert to more sales, right? So what I use as an example is, think of Kylie Jenner. So on the person's page, they sell stuff like corsets, very sexy stuff that would give your butt a lift. And it's like, okay, I can see how this will work on Facebook, because in her community, you know, where she's based, a lot of people are more on Facebook than on Instagram. But if your content of what I saw on Instagram is what is being posted on Facebook, imagine if you had much better content, it would be a lot more engaging and you'd reach a lot more people. So the information that I'm giving now for Instagram can also be applied to Facebook, all right? So think Kylie Jenner. I'm sure you all are all aware of the pages that just have stock site looking images. Stock site looking images are usually for a website. It's for people to see your inventory. It's for people to see the product better, right? So when they can see the product better, they can, really examine it, see like the quality, like that's what they're looking for in a stock style looking image, And when I say stock style, I mean the product on a white background and that's it. But you're already on the site looking for that particular item. On social media is not your website. Social media is like a community, or like, let's think of like a community center where you find and you meet more people, right? That's not the place to put stock photos. You want to see real life photos. You want to see a lifestyle, a culture. It must be engaging. And what's engaging is you telling a story. Just simply placing the photo of the product on a white background is not engaging. It's not very attractive. And then you have to keep in mind your caption. What do you say? Are you telling a story? So for something, especially like something that's really sexy, there's so much that you can do to really sell that product. You want to see it on somebody's body, and you don't want to just see like a cutout, again, a stock image on a white background. You want to see like your customers. Even if you don't have customers, get friends to wear it and let them pose. Get some models. If you can't afford models, again, just get some friends who can pose in it and show like even before and afters. This is me before, because like I saw one of the pictures on Instagram, the one that had the most likes, had a picture of a woman in a jeans because the undergarment really lifted her butt, right? And that one had the most. People want to see what your product can do for them. So you want to show people like, this is what you could look like if you wear this, right? You want to show the person before, like, oh my gosh, I was so flat. But look at me now. I look really, good, right? And I'm ready to go out, have a ball, and, entice a couple guys, okay? So you want to really tell a story with content creation. All right, so I hope that answers the question. But to go a little bit further is, think of Kylie Jenner. Would Kylie Jenner put, now let's forget who she is, right? Let's look at her brand. Let's look at her personal page, even look at her business page, Kylie Cosmetics. You don't see pictures, you would see stock images, but it's styled, it's flat lays. There's styling to it. It tells a story. There are props around it. So it's still telling a story, and it's not on a white background, and it doesn't look like something that you pulled off of Alibaba's website, right? Not saying that her images was pulled off of Alibaba's website, but I'm just giving an example because I see so many Facebook pages do this, or Instagram pages do this, and so many stores just, slap in the picture, put price, and just put delivery, da 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 da. And it's kind of like a lazy approach to approaching selling your business, because if you have an online business, you want to really treat your online store or your social media store, because really your online store should be on a website. Like if it's a real store, you wouldn't just slap your merchandise on the wall on some hangers and walk away, right? You're going to put some time and effort and love into it the same way that you would in a physical sense. So again, back to Kylie Jenner. Look at her and even similar people to her, or similar people in your industry, and look at how their pages look. And that's supposed to give you some ideas of where you need to be and things that you can do to bring your content up to a more engaging level, and also to make it a lot more enticing and attractive. Okay? So in my notes, I have tell more of a story, show before and afters, show a lifestyle around your brand, right? So you can show a woman posing in her corset or actually out, right? If you can get your customers to send you pictures of them wearing it out, that's great. If you can't, again, just get friends to do it and create that culture on your page, or to create that story that you want to tell, right? So the next question on content creation is, I'm struggling with clients or client appointments, and I'm uncertain if I should post my work only or just random photos off the internet. So one, we're not posting random pictures. Everything must have a purpose and a plan to achieve a specific goal, right? So yes, you're going to post your work, But if you don't have enough work, and obviously it's pretty obvious that you're going to need to have more work, and maybe you might have to do something for free or give a friend a discount and let somebody say, hey, I'm going to do your nails once a week or once a month so that I can build up my portfolio, and you only have to pay me half price. How about that? Offer that to people. But the other thing to do, apart from building your portfolio, is you can post work that isn't yours, but be what's the word? Not authentic is what I want to say. Right, have integrity with it and be transparent. So show people that this isn't my work, but you don't have to actually say this isn't my work. What you can post is inspiration image of the day. Go on Pinterest. There are tons of beautiful pictures on Pinterest when it comes to nails. So like when I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my nails this month or this visit, I would go to Pinterest and I have a board with different nail styles that I like. And when you post certain styles, it also shows people the type of work that you do, because each nail tech or each business, try to apply this to your business, even if you're not into nails. But every creative has their own style. So even if you want to post pictures, make sure that you post pictures that is within your style of work. Or if you show that you are very versatile and you do many different things, post pictures of the type of work that you do and call it inspiration of the day. So mix it in with your actual work, and that would help build engagement. And you build engagement by having clear call to actions. Tell people what to do as your last thing. Always tell them, do you like this look? What would you like to see? And stuff like that. So I hope that gives the idea of what you can do when you are slow with getting bookings. And the other thing I was going to say is have a booking calendar where that when people click the link, they can see all your different services. So like, for example, not all nail techs do the same thing. So some focus on natural nails, some do gel and acrylic, some don't do acrylic, some do gel only. And people want to know like what are your rates, what are your different packages, what to expect. So you have to show people what to expect and set the intention, not the intention, set the expectations by what you post. So posting content isn't just about just having lots of likes and follows and just sales. Yes, it's sales, but to get to sales, it's a process. And part of that process is educating your audience. Your audience wants to know certain things. You in your industry needs to know what they want to know. And that comes from asking them. And two, listening. What do people ask you the most? And the most obvious thing that people ask the most in any business is what's the price? Now, I'm not saying put the price when it comes to the particular nails, but something I would actually like to say a little bit more is how much someone paid to do a particular style. I'm getting really tight-tongued tonight. But sometimes people want to know, like, ooh, that looks expensive. I may not be able to afford that. And then they go off into their lives as usual. And they forget about it, not realizing, hey, your price point might be able to fit mine. And even if you don't want to put the price next to the image, because it just takes away from the entire experience, have a booking link so when people click, they can, one, book, and two, see how much it costs to do gel enhancements, acrylic enhancements, just to do a regular pedicure, and all the different types of servicing that they can expect to receive. So I hope that helps. And anybody else in the beauty industry or any similar field, when it comes to booking and you have like a portfolio of work and you don't have enough, it is okay to show other pictures. Oh, but the key thing, show pictures of people's work that isn't in your local area, because then you're posting your competition. And I don't think they'll be very happy. And what I would encourage is that if you know the source of the image and it's not in your local area, definitely tag them, you know. So the next question is working on launching an online business. So for me, it's where the heck to start. What should my first few posts be about? So I really love that question because I never really thought about the person who's now starting content creation. Usually, people I speak to already have their businesses and they're more or less stuck. But if you're new to content creation, then definitely there should be a guide. And now I'm thinking maybe I should do a little freebie on how to get started with content marketing. But for right now, here are my starter tips for content marketing. First thing, research. Look at others in your industry and look until you find not just anybody, like you're looking around, but keep looking until you find like a really good page, and not just a couple, so that you can take notes of what is making people tick. Look at their posts and see which ones are the top performing just by making a note of like the first 9 images or the first 9 posts, and see the top 3 out of those first 12 posts on their feed. And then I will give you an idea of what people like and what they want to see. So research your competition so you know who you are standing next to. So this is one of the things that I have explained in the past, especially as a graphic designer to clients, is that before we can even design your logo, we need to see who you are competing against so that we can see that when we create something, how it pairs up with others in your industry, and not really to just to compete with them, but see if you're being effective, if you're communicating your message well enough, and to ensure that it resonates in your industry or in your market. Right? So first things, tell people who you are, why you started this business, and tell people how you all came about. Why are you here today? Tell them who you serve and why you want to serve them and what problem that you solve. That's like 5 posts there already. And then from each one, so let's say you have an about, you have like a post for your feed. You can tell them something in your Instagram stories that leads up. You can do like about 5 slides that really tell people, hey, this is who I am and why I started this business. So you're giving the why of why you're in business in so many different formats. Some people might read a post, right? Some people might want to watch stories because it's a lot more engaging and it's a lot more personal. You can even go live and start right away and just have people starting to engage with you and ask you questions about your business and about your services, because depending on what industry you're starting in, sometimes it's so, I guess, innovative or out of the box, especially if you have like a very innovative service or twist on something. All the more reason to create content around this new thing, because now you have to educate people on what this thing is, how it works, why it came about, and everything else in between. All right, so I hope this helps someone. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me and I may do a part 2, or I will answer, or make notes of it for a follow-up piece of content. All right. So my next question, or should I say the next set of questions, or how to put it, I guess pain points, don't all come as questions. So I'm just going to read it out exactly as it is here. So 1, mental blocks, has a fear of posting content as she overthinks the process. So for my overthinkers, the best thing to do is just to do. Just take action. Think about Nike and just do it. And before you do it, of course, brain dump all the things that you want to do content around. So just doing it doesn't mean doing it without a plan, doesn't mean doing it without a strategy, and it doesn't mean doing it without making any sense. Okay? But after you have done all of those things and you time blocked and you have like a content bucket and blah, 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 which I will get into a little bit more, don't paralyze yourself with inaction. Because, I don't know, basically just think of what Gary Vee would tell you. He would just tell you, just do it. Nobody cares, right? But what I want to say is one piece of advice that helped me a lot in when it comes to overthinking certain things, maybe not content creation, because for me content creation is fun, but that would be my next, that's actually one of my tips. But oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. um, what helped me, yes, I remember. What helped me is stop thinking about what other people think, because believe it or not, we think people are thinking about us more than they actually are. And that piece of advice really helped me a lot, because it's really and truly we are in our own worlds and we are the ones who are focused on us. But really and truly, most of the time, other people aren't really paying attention to us as much as we think they are. So if we could just own our power and decide, hey, I need to do this because I want to take my business to the next level. Do I want to stay in the same spot forever and ever? I don't think so. So whatever fear that I have, and usually that fear is because I'm really thinking about what other people may think, or disappointing someone, or making a mistake, or who who's really gonna know besides you? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these things that have us in overthinking are a lot of like false lies. And I know I'm going a little bit off of content creation, but it applies because I realize a lot of people are paralyzed in taking action in general, but they are paralyzed with content creation. The thing with social media in general, it's trial and error. Everybody's business is different, everybody's industry is different, and each person is different. So the way that you may do something, somebody else will do it completely different. And the only way to know what will work is to actually do something. And if it doesn't work, guess what? It's not that big of a deal, because then you have data to be like, okay, this worked, this didn't work, I need to do more of this. And this is why I said, like at the beginning of this recording, is that I love doing experiments now, because it's always fascinating to see what people respond to. Because what you think they're going to respond to, sometimes they don't. And then when you think, oh, that's boring, nobody cares about that. Okay, my phone needs to charge. Nobody cares about that. I'm not going to post that. And I've had those moments where I had a friend tell me, you need to tell people more about being a mommy. And I don't like to talk about the fact that I'm a mommy, because I don't want that to be the focus of my content creation. I don't want to just be another mompreneur. But that's what resonates with a lot of people on my feed. And if that is what they like, I can't think about, oh, I don't really want to talk about that. You have to give people what they want. And the only way to know what they want is to try different things. And it's not just about knowing what they want, but it's how you bring it across. Which medium or which way I bring it across resonates the most. And it's going to take trial and error, and it's not all going to work from the get-go, right? There are things that will work and there are things that won't work. And once you go in with those expectations that it's an experiment, it takes away a lot of unneeded pressure on yourself, and you are able to have fun with it. And I think that is the key thing for me when it comes to content creation. Have fun with it. This is your business. This is what you should be passionate about. You should be happy to talk about it and create content and show people that, hey, I'm the authority on this topic. You need to listen to what I have to say. All right, so I hope that empowered somebody today and that helped. And yeah, so on to the next struggle, which is time. So I get it. I can relate. I have a lot on my plate as well. But think about it like this. Think about any successful business owner. They are busy too. And granted, while they might have a team, when you're starting out, everybody's busy. So when you think about the fact that most people are busy, it's a matter of prioritizing and how important this is to you. And one of the things I like to tell people when it comes to making time, and I spoke about it in my episode about, I think it was 3 things you should do today. And it was surrounded around a lot of time management and things you can do to work smarter and not harder, is that there are many things on my to-do list, so many things I want to create, so many things that I want to put out into the world, but it's so time consuming. But I just have to make a list, brain dump it all so my brain doesn't become overwhelmed. So that's the first thing. And these tips can apply across the board, right? When it comes to time blocking, not just for content creation. But if you have a brilliant idea for a piece of content, content is everywhere. It's in all of your conversations with anybody when you're talking about your business, any questions that come into your DM. And you might even be venting about something in your industry. And I do it all the time. So I in the moment, I'm always like, hey, that's a good piece of content. I need to write that down because I know I may not have the time right now to publish it. I may not have the time now to create it. But I know at some point in time when I'm sitting down, planning my content, and I'm trying to figure out, what do I want to talk to today? And I'm coming up blank. I just have to go to wherever I stored that piece of information, whether it's on my phone, in a Google Doc, or I wrote it down on a book, or I wrote it down on one of these. I'm always doing that. um, I know that I have it written down somewhere so I don't become overwhelmed. I don't become overwhelmed, and I can focus on the things that I need to focus on. So when it comes to time blocking, if time blocking means setting aside 10 minutes to think about your content, and you do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, that's 20 minutes right there you dedicated to content creation. And then the next day, you allot another 10 minutes. And the thing about time blocking is you might find that you have more time in the day because you might start to be like, hey, I still have a little extra 10 minutes to spare. Let me continue working on this. You might look at the clock and be like, okay, I really need to get to X place in the next 10 minutes. I'm going to go on for another 10 minutes. There are so many areas that you can incorporate your business into your life. So one of the things that I really love when it comes to not having to drive is that it gives me the opportunity to work on stuff because I'm not actually the one behind the wheel. Or we always complain there's traffic. We complain that someone is taking too long to meet with us. Hey, let me start to think about what I can do to make use of this time. You're in the bank. You are running errands and you're in the line. Whip out your phone and brainstorm topics so that by the time you are in a quiet place and you're working on your content for 10 minutes, you can just get straight to writing a paragraph. Or you might have written the paragraph in the line, but then you're home and now it's just to find the appropriate image, schedule, and set and forget. Like, it just doesn't get better than that because we have tools that can schedule this stuff for us. It could be 1 o'clock in the morning. I know nobody's probably going to see my content then, so I'll schedule it. So I hope that helps with the time blocking aspect. And yeah, so the other thing now is you want to do a lot. You have it narrowed down to content buckets of, they name some topics here. I'm just going to go ahead and see what the topics are. Nutrition, food and marketing, food industry related. So again, same thing. You want to do a lot, brain dump. Have it recorded somewhere so that 1, you don't get overwhelmed, as mentioned just now. 2, you don't forget. And 3, it's all documented. So that is the beauty of brain dumping anything that's on your mind. So the great thing is that you have content buckets. So now it's to create the content in between it. So you're on the right track. Don't have perfect pictures and you get stuck. You're working with Unsplash. So I know everyone tells you, well, not everyone, but many of the major digital marketers, anybody who knows about Unsplash will say Unsplash. But personally, I find Unsplash can be a little bit flat, right? And even if you find good images, not that they don't have good images, this is just a personal preference. If it's a free resource And with a free resource that so many people know about, chances are it can seem a bit overused and again, flat when it's time to post. Work with Unsplash because they have great images, and especially in your industry of nutrition, you can get some gorgeous, beautiful food pictures. So work with Unsplash and don't overthink it, because that's a form of overthinking. And I would even say it's a form of procrastination. You know, um, perfect picture. I want to say there's no such thing as a perfect picture, but to some degree, you want to have good quality pictures. I know the perfect picture means you want to have a picture that really lines up with the caption exact, but just have gorgeous looking food pictures, stuff on nutrition, and just make it work. Don't get too stuck on it. When you can, and you can upgrade to a better phone, because I know this person in particular, I know she complained of needing a better phone. When that time comes, you can take your own pictures, but work with the free resources online and make sure to just give credit to who is the owner of the picture. Even if you source your pictures from Google, even if you source your pictures from Pinterest, just tag in the caption, credit wherever it came from. Even if you pull it from Google or Pinterest and you don't know who owns it, just say you got it from Google. Just tag Google, tag Pinterest. I've seen people do it all the time. It shows you're making an effort. So even if for some reason somebody finds you and be like, hey, that's my picture, you could be like, oh, I found this picture, and they will see for themselves that you found it on Google. And I just didn't know who owned it. Now that I know it's you, I'm gonna credit you, and it's all good. All right, so the other point is they're planning to go live. She polled her audience and they're interested in a particular topic. That's excellent. So you're taking action. She's setting up her MailChimp to incorporate that into her content strategy by giving out a handout to the people after the live. Let me tell you, I absolutely love this because thought was put into it and there was a strategy behind it. So thought process and strategy, I love that idea. Try to give people as much value as possible. So going live is great, but giving people a takeaway, something to do afterwards, some type of homework, even if it's not through an actual freebie, but at the end of your life, you can give people a verbal feedback. You can give them instructions. That's a call to action. And as this person did, she is giving out a handout, I'm assuming, right? But even if it's not an actual like workbook, whatever she's sending out is still something of value, and you are getting people to sign up to your mailing list. And even if you're just, actually no, they'll have to sign up for you to mail it out. So yeah, you're starting to build your list through content creation. So that is the goal. Like, that's the thing with content creation. It's a process before the sales. Sometimes you might make a sale immediately from your piece of content, and sometimes there's a process and there's a journey. So you get people to convert via getting on your list, and you are earning their trust, because they wouldn't sign up for your list if they didn't see value in what you had to provide. The next one is not sure if to run an ad. So here's my piece of advice that can apply to anyone. If you're thinking about running ads, test what content performs. And that is the piece of content that you want to run an ad for or run sponsored posts. There will be times where you just need to do an advertisement about your services or a sale, and you want to give that prominence. But what this person said afterwards is that they want to run an ad, and I have as my notes, I'm not sure if this person meant to grow their content or to advertise their services, but I'm guessing it's services. But she went on to say she's still working out on her services. So it won't make sense right now to run an ad on your services if you haven't gotten clear on exactly what you're offering. Okay? If you want to continue to build your page, focus on your content creation for now, and if you want to run ads, just give already performing posts a little bit more of an edge, because you're going to get a lot more return on your investment if you run an ad for a post that is already performing well. All right. And my last question for this Q&A segment is ensuring that she gives people the right information is a fear of hers. Now, if you're the expert, you really shouldn't be afraid if this is the right information. So I'm a little bit confused by it, but I think that what's happening here is a lot of fear going back to just posting content in general. Like, if you know that this information is true and it's factual, and you do your due diligence by research and asking other experts in your field, then this is a perfect example of false evidence appearing real, aka fake. All right, so that might be another mindset block when it comes to posting content. And the first thing is to be aware of it, and once you're aware of it, then you can tackle it and try to shift your mindset when it comes to your relationship with really positioning yourself as the authority in your field. Because I don't think this is just like about a content creation issue. I think because, as you said, turning your passion into a business is very scary. What I see happening here is imposter syndrome, and that's a whole other topic altogether. But I think I did post something on imposter syndrome sometime. But just remember, everyone deals with imposter syndrome, and it's normal to feel this way. Every time that you challenge yourself, you are going to find yourself feeling imposter syndrome. It just comes with the territory of challenging yourself and trying something new. But if you know that this is not real and this is not a fact, then you can just be like, okay, you can do this. Give yourself positive self-talk and you will get through it. But it's like bathing. You have to do it every single day and constantly do that mindset work. All right, so I hope this answers many of your questions when it comes to content creation. And if you have any more questions on content creation, I hope that you all are signed up for the workshop on content creation and telling a story. Social media storytelling, I think it is. But basically, it's all about content creation, and that's the third installment of our workshop. And even if you're not, there will be more and more around content creation. So don't worry, I got you all. Just let me know what you all struggle with, and I am here to help you. All right, so thank you guys for joining me for this content curation Q&A, and I will see you guys for the next one. I hope to do these at least once a month. I really would like to do it once a week, but I know the only reason I'm able to do this tonight is because it's a long weekend, so I have a little more time. So at least once a month, I would like to do a Q&A on a particular topic, so you all can look out whenever I post that in my Instagram stories. And please, please, please don't be shy. Leave your questions. All right, so see you guys for the next one, and thanks again for joining me. Bye.
Hey Cassia, I really enjoyed your podcast about content creation. You shared some amazing tips and strategies with us. I really liked the Kylie Jenner example for how to use social media. And my question to you is, do you think owners should be the face of their own brands?
Hey Jalisa, thank you for your question, and that's such a good question. So it really is going to depend on your strategy and what type of brand you are trying to build. Are you trying to build just a business brand without the face of the owner behind it? That could be your strategy. And then in other cases, I think for small business owners, it's really important to leverage your personal brand. And that would mean you should be building and curating your personal brand at all times, because in the digital age that we are in, there's so much to benefit from content creation where you are sharing your life, like the Kardashians. And then in other cases, that may not be a strategy based on the fact that you may not be able to share intimate parts of your life. So some people have even asked me, like, how do I content create? Like, how do I show behind the scenes without showing my face? Because they may currently still be in a job, or their husbands might hold certain positions, but they have a business and they're not really in a position to be very public. In that case, then you would sculpt your brand strategy to suit. So it really depends on the strategy that you want to employ for your business, but there is definitely value in being the face of your brand.